Friends, I had my eye on the Isamaya Beauty Wild Star collection ever since November of 2022 because something about it held me back. I was intrigued because this was the collection that dropped after Industrial, and I purchased that entire collection because Isamaya Beauty broke into the scene, and I was completely enamored because of her work with Byredo. And she was responsible for, I think it was Prismatic and Flora Kalahari, the two limited edition Byredo palettes that released when she was working with them a few years ago. And when I heard she was starting her own brand, I was like, yes, sign me up. Bought Industrial, and then Wild Star came about. I thought it was an interesting concept, and I decided to rewatch Isamaya's video explaining the collection just so I could refamiliarize myself with her intention and her inspiration. She wanted to meld prairie and glam, and also to see her campaign, because that campaign for Wild Star was wild, and I think definitely aligned with how the collection was designed. It's definitely campy and bordering, if not right on the border of garish. Just ultra showy. Here I am with the horse head in gold and the rhinestones. I think initially that's what held me back. I couldn't completely grasp, or rather embrace, the packaging design for this palette or for the entire collection. I was attracted to the eyeshadows because I did enjoy and still enjoy Industrial as well as Industrial 2.0. And again, watching Isamaya's video when she was swatching the shadows and explaining everything up behind their formulation, where their ingredients were tamanu and moringa oil to help with application, but also longevity and the different pearls. I like all that behind the scenes stuff when it comes to makeup. It definitely is more enchanting and interesting for me because as a consumer, I would like to know as much as possible about the products that I'm buying. Still though, I think the packaging, you know, I have to say I prefer the packaging for, this is a highlighter, for the highlighter components and the lipstick. Let me just start with why I have this in the first place. My apologies, I went on a slight tangent, which happens a lot on my channel. Hi, if it's your first time here, welcome. Because I had my eye on this collection for quite some time, I was waiting obviously for a sale opportunity, and there was during the Black Friday event or Black Friday time on the calendar where Isamaya Beauty was selling her collection, or the brand was selling the collection Wild Star for 30% off. I thought, not bad, not bad. I had it in the basket, I just didn't press buy. I left it there until I mentioned this collection again, I think in my best of makeup video. And Nicole, who I am just going by the username, wrote me this. Alicia, the Isamaya Wild Star palette is currently 70% off with code ARCHIVE. Immediately thought of you and wanted to pass along. Thank you for all your phenomenal videos. Thank you, Nicole. I couldn't believe it. I decided to head over and I said, oh my goodness, not only was the palette eligible for the 70% off, but the entire collection. The total purchase for this collection was $66.90. I purchased the palette, the highlighter stick, and the lipstick liner duo. Even though my basket is showed as 3 items, 4 items in all. I'm not saying that I should have bought this just because it was that high of a discount, right? I could have saved $67. But because this collection has been sitting on my mind ever since I saw it in 2022, I kept thinking about it, left it alone, visited, went back. To have this opportunity and to see the prices slashed in my checkout basket, it was just satisfying. I'm sorry, I know this was an unnecessary splurge, but come on. This color palette retails for $105. I got it for $31.50. The Dazzle Up highlighter stick retails for $42, $12.60, and the Wild Star lipstick and lip pencil duo, $76, I got for $22.80. I had to family, because again, even though it's campy and out there, is a conversation starter for sure. I don't know why this palette is $105. Yes, it's made in Italy. But allow me to read the description details while the B-roll runs. Unleash the Untamed Wildstar Palette Press Pigment Palette is a prairie glam rhinestone studded eyeshadow palette for the wild at heart, featuring 12 glistening shades for the glamour-obsessed cowgirls and cowboys who dream of a sorbet-colored sunsets and rodeo nights. Presented in a gilded gold case embellished with rhinestones, each shade was selected by Isamaya to release her inner wild child. Apply with fingers, blend with the brush, apply on eyes, or paint on your face. No rules or boundaries. Add water to pigments to intensify or use as a liner. And the other feature about this compact is that it is reusable, where you can take out this guy here. I'm not doing it because I just painted my nails, but if you just slide a spatula here under the notch, click it up, you can use the compact as a jewelry box or whatever you like. So maybe that part of the construction is what contributed to the high price. Maybe the pearl used in here. I know there was a variety of different pearl ratios involved with formulating these shadows. You can see that Isamaya deliberately included these matte contour shades, as she had mentioned in her video, to create shading in the eyes depending on your skin tone, and then coupled with the more razzly-dazzly shades, so you could use the neutral shades to, again, shade through the crease and then go in wild with the other fun shades. Next up, the Dazzle Up highlighter. The shade name officially is called Sun Chaser. Giddy Up Gleam Dazzle Up is a moisture boosting highlighter injected with glistening pearls, a sun shower for your skin, an instant touch of light, sweat shine, and soft fluorescent. Infused with skin conditioning ingredients like shea butter, jojoba oil, and retinol, mimicking alfalfa complex to improve skin elasticity over time, a remedy for tired, dull, and overworked complexions. So, okay. Swipe onto cheekbones above Cupid's bow or anywhere else for a healthy, luminous sheen. Definitely will not rely on the Dazzle Up stick for skin regenerating capabilities. I understand how brands are trying to push the agenda of skincare and your makeup, and if you wear the makeup your skin will transform. Not entirely. That is just not true. I do recognize how the Dazzle Up stick, the texture, or rather the consistency, is quite smooth, and I'm not sure you can see that pearl here. It's smoother than Byredo's highlighter stick. It's kind of like a barely there. I'm thinking about Pat's mother's Dom Pot highlighter duo stick with the universal bomb side. It's giving that, but even more fluid. It has more of like is very silky on the skin. And I had to get the Wildstar lipstick and lip pencil duo. Lucky Kiss is a cushiony, glittering lipstick that wraps lips in a sublime shine. I purchased the shade Buck, which is this luscious bronze with the gold overspray. Stop it. Spur Stick softly defines the edges with a matte suede finish. Wear both for an audacious gleam for rodeo night and beyond. And the Spur Stick liner is waterproof. There are 3 shades in all for the Spur Stick as well as for the Lucky Kiss lipstick, where Isamaya created the like pinkish middle brown and the super deep brown shades, also with the corresponding Spur Stick lip liners. I had to get Buck. I had my eye on Outlaw, which was the more reddish tone shade, but I thought the bronze would look just phenomenal. So that is my story behind why I still bought this collection. I couldn't pass up the opportunity, and having this compact in front of me now, it's just funny. It's like My Little Pony makeup before adults and make it shiny and gold. It's just funny to me how Isamaya went to this extent, but that makes sense given that a few of her lipstick products take on the shape of men's genitalia. So there's that. But now that we have the origin story and details out the way, it's time for you to come in a little closer. That's enough. Also, if you have not checked out my Dior Forever Skin Perfect Multi-Use Foundation Stick video yet, I have that up, and Juju was nice enough to suggest, which I actually wanted to do but did not film it yet, but thought to make this cocktail happen for this video is to combine the Forever Glow Star filter with 3.5 and neutral, and I made sure to apply a ton of moisturizer, and I think that helped the consistency so it does not appear as cakey and flat, and the star filter I think gave it the brightness that 3.5N was dying for. So we got the base on, and I wanted to start with the Dazzle Up stick. Isn't this just crazy? Listen, I love this. I do. Again, I prefer this design over the compact one, and just to have this on my vanity, well, my multi-use desk, is pretty. It's pretty, right? But here we go. Let's apply this Dazzle Up highlighter, which I'm going from finger to stick to cheekbone, and I don't think you will detect the same pearl or champagne pearl effect as you would with the Byredo highlighter. And allow me to just place now Byredo on the other side for the sake of comparison. The Dazzle Up side obviously has that glow and may be suitable for one who doesn't want that pearl look. I still have that glow from Byredo, but if you want more of a pronounced pearl finish on the cheekbones, it doesn't look heavy or metallic-y, however. That's why I had to mention it as an honorable in my best of makeup video for 2024. What I find useful with Dazzle Up is that I think it can prep your cheekbone space quite well. If it runs on the drier side and you find that these gelée baked products just flake off when you tap them on, this will set it up quite nicely. And to prove my point, remember this highlighter? It was the Smashbox and Vlada collaboration, the Petal Metal highlighter in Gilded Rose, a compact I could just not get rid of. So we got Dazzle Up on here, and purposefully using a stiffer brush because, again, as I had explained, the gelée baked texture naturally is tougher to pick up with a more flexible, softer brush. But this stiffer consistency, with the help of Dazzle Up, is naturally going to grab the product and smooth it out on the cheekbones. So here, if you wanted a little more reflectivity or wanted to introduce more color on the cheekbones, this is more of like an iridescent kind of soft pink flip, this powder, but when placed on the cheekbones, it actually has something to adhere to, and you can see the color on your skin, but it still appears smooth. And again, I think this will be fantastic if you wore this on bare skin, just as something to give the cheekbones glow and overall that dimension that naturally occurs when you accentuate the highlight points of your face. I do like the Dazzle Up. I do. It's so creamy and it's so emollient. I know it's hard for you to, you're like, what are you doing? I don't have your arm. What are you doing? Very soft, super soft. It has like a, well, so soft, I don't think ideal for oily skin types. This will just slip right off your skin. You can detect that there's a lot of oil and skincare-ness going on, but for me, whose skin condition does lean on the heavier, dry part of the spectrum, I do appreciate the consistency from the Dazzle Up stick. Also, I know I demonstrated using a gel-baked powder, but you could also use the Dazzle Up as prep for sticks that are a little rougher, that don't have the same slip. They have more of like that friction feel where they can definitely benefit from a consistency provided by the Dazzle Up. So many words. We gotta get into the lipstick. I have been, listen, ever since this arrived last night, it took everything in me to not put this lipstick on, and I wanted to have these items fresh for the footage. Spur stick, again in Buck. I'll quickly swatch. This is the dark brown. Oh, ooh. Ooh. And again, it's supposed to be waterproof. Super thin as well. It can get ultra precise around the perimeter of your lip. Okay, that. I'll quickly swatch Lisa's 2N pencil. 2N looks crazy warm and just overall lighter next to that. I'll quickly swatch the lipstick here. Look at this overspray. This is just incredible. and the color of the actual lipstick. Oh, I've been waiting to apply this since last night. Oh, the gold is just coming forward. Look at that metallic finish. Holy crap. Smooth too. I don't feel any friction with the presence of whatever is in here. The pearl. Look at my lip. Look at my freaking lip. They look, oh my goodness. I'm just going. I'm just keep on going. Definitely vampy for sure. A little bit of like what I detect as a soft vanilla taste. The scent also kind of like a soft vanilla, so but not so disturbing that I completely hate it. But this is a metallic lip. Wow. And all for, well, I bought the duo together in total $22.80. Not bad. Now it's time for this eyeshadow. And for the prep, I'm going in with Mother's Primer. You could choose the primer of your choice. I think I should go in with some blush. Should I go with some blush? I'll do it after I apply the eyeshadow. Now, Isamaya's recommendation was to start with one of the contour shades first, which you can do. You don't have to, but I can understand how she recommends that step because it makes it less intimidating if you find that you don't know where to start with the Dazzly shades, but you at least know where these shades go in your crease. So just to check out how these shades look, I'll first go in, let me see, flipping this over. I'm assuming, no, I don't know which one is which. Saddle, this has to be Saddle. This one right here. Oh, this mirror sticker is horrendous. It does not want to come off. Wow. All right, well, I'm gonna leave you down there. Again, starting with Saddle, and as suspected, just based off the swatch, ultra smooth, and again, made in Italy. Even color distribution as well as a smooth, uninterrupted blend, right? So this will be a fair way to go to start off any of the looks that you wish to use these fun shades with. And I could go in with the darker shade, albeit, don't know, listen, hold on, words. I'll go in with the Bone shade first, just to whip a little of that dust through the crease. And then I'll follow up with the dark brown shade, carefully tapping here on the outer V, just to set up whatever I choose to lay on top. This is the look right here. I mean, if you really wanted to keep it simple, throw on the lipstick and just the neutral shades and call it a day. But we're here for the fun shades, and something I detected when swatching for the B-roll, this shade right here, I'm assuming is called Rodeo based on how this label is situated. This is the problem shade, super flaky, and one that I would use Mother's Intensifies wand with. The particles separate easily and is one of the drier textures in the palette. Whereas the violet one here, I think this is dressage. This is more of like an ultraviolet fluorescent iridescent shade. It doesn't have the same finish or even flaky texture as the one here. But I wanted to give this problem child shade a chance by prepping the lid with Intensifies. I could have used Millie Shine On, but I remember Millie had said that this, or the primer's not great for these chunkier textures, which I think this is giving. So let me start with my finger first, picking up enough to tap on the majority of the lid, just so we could get the color on here, and using the Intensify stick. Whoa, that's foily oily. Using my little Surratt brush, which shout out to Surratt. Surratt makes some incredible brushes, and I need to gather them so they're all in one place and not scattered about in all my drawers, because Troy created some exceptional shapes, and I think they are, well, I don't mention them enough, and I think I should, because they're simply incredible. But back to this eyeshadow, that is foily oily. Oh, it basically corresponds to what's going on the lip. That's not bad. And now I want to follow up with a completely different shade, which I think this is something you can do, especially if you have the Wild Star palette and you're like, I don't know, this is a lot going on. I would go in like with this guy here, the violet shade, and staying with my Ciroc brush, because it is stiffer, and I think an ideal bundle type, I believe this is this Weasel? I can't recall, to get into the inner corner, but also successfully deposit, because I'm wiggling back and forth. This one's a little tighter in the pan. This doesn't have the same release nature as the first shade I applied on my lid. So you definitely have to wiggle to get the violet shade, especially if you want to envelop your entire lid, but I'm just using this as our inner corner highlighter of choice. And now want to nudge in this duochrome. This is a lovely duochrome shade. Same brush, but nudging it here on the lower inner part of my lash line. And now, just to complete the lower lash line, I'm following up with our dark brown matte, because I just want a little more cohesiveness here, and I'll wrap it in so it combines with that duochrome. Now beware, you will get fallout because this is a little loosey-goosey like this shade here, so I would use a primer that is formulated to grab these flakier textures, the larger particle size. Returning with that first brush I used to apply the matte on my outer lid, just to complete that blend there. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. And now I would like to follow up in the same manner, but I am enveloping the entire lid because we only have saddle through the crease, just like as a soft setup. But I gotta go in with this bronze shade because the bronze shade is one of the smoother shades in this palette. It doesn't have that same flaky texture as the others. And I think an easy way to go, see how it's just like your regular degular, is almost like the buck shade but in eyeshadow form. It has a buttery texture, easy to pick up, and the powder smooth enough where you don't actually need a matte to blend it out. But if you were to just, or if I were to just start with this shade solo, I can softly diffuse the edges successfully without it looking harsh on the skin. Harsh is not the right word. Scattered. Like if I were to blend out this foil shade, it would have looked very twinkly inkly, where I want the final edge blend to be more diffused. Does that make any sense? And that, I mean, is this the mousse mocha? Are we giving mousse mocha with this combination right now? I want to follow up with that same shade under the lash line, but grabbing a smaller brush to achieve that. I could go really, I think I accomplish just that. Not with that gold in mind, but it's okay. I'm just using my finger to dab around. Oh, that's pretty. I have this shade. I do in my collection for sure, but I actually enjoy the gold flecks, the pearl in the bronze base. That's very pretty. We got to decide, however, what to apply on the inner corner. Isamaya has this beautiful duochrome here that we can obviously stay in frame, but I think it'll be fun to use a fluorescent pink on the lower inner part of the eye just for some pop, and maybe go in, as I had first stated, with it's like Mother's Astral Luna Gold. That's kind of what it reminds me of, to be honest. And then you can carry it higher to the inner arc of the lid and tap it on that bronze shade so it has like that starburst scatter effect. And now, as I had originally mentioned, we'll grab, actually let me grab a smaller brush. I'm gonna put Ciroc back and use my little Refer 02 Mini to grab the pink shade and place it right on the lower inner corner. Oh, that's a lot of fun. I like this choice. I like what's happening. Sweep it here, combining it with that bronze shade. You know, I understand that I have these moments in my collection 100%. And not that I needed this compact, but I thought these eye looks were fairly easy to achieve. for sure. I mean, the shine and the foil is there. It's there, without a doubt. Now, is this worth $105? Especially if you have indie multi-chromes already, or a lot of singles from indie brands, especially if you have a lot of Mother's palettes. Not necessary. But if it happened to go on super sale like it did, it was hard to pass up. That's what I'll say. We also have this black shadow, which I don't know how I feel about it, since Isamaya had mentioned in her video that it was used, or rather included, to be an accent shadow to play that role, but accents don't take up or require a lot of shadow. So to have this huge black shadow in the middle is not going to be used a ton, I feel like, the other shades. However, you could plop this on the entire lid and then use that to amplify whatever shadow you apply on top. And what I mean by that is, if we were to take the black, right? So there's that black shadow, which, by the way, whoa, and then follow up with, like, let's say the aqua foil shade and apply that on top. That's going to give a little more, or it's going to have that shadowy backdrop to amplify the blue, right? And you could actually apply the blue wet, so it has more of that wet foiled effect. That's another decision to make. But what I'll do is, just to kind of see the black in action, I'll use the black as a shadow liner moment, which I think will be fitting here on the first eye. Gotta say, this is a good black shadow. It's matte, colors there, pickup incredible with this brush. It's a goat hair brush, and I think the right amount of stiffness to stay pretty precise here. But my goodness, that's black. I'm just being careful here on the inner part of the eye where it could look a little crazy, but we're taking our time. And here we go. Miscalculating wing degree again. I'm trying not to swipe so much as to not pick up the texture of that first foiled shade we applied, right? I don't want that shadow to move around so much. This already got out of hand. I'm wiping the brush so I can finesse the wing tip a little bit, and to connect that wing dip. This is what I feel, yes, creates the body of the wing, that flick, if you will. All right, the eyes are complete. Let's apply some lashes and I'll be right back. And here are our final looks using Wild Star. And I needed to buy these items even though they're on sale. I just want to make that clear. I had this collection on my radar for the last 2 years and something months, and I decided to finally pull the trigger. Yes, all puns intended for this Prairie Glam collection. I have to say, my most favorite, despite my love for eyeshadow, product of this collection out of the items I purchased has to be the lip. I don't have a lip like this, and maybe I have to look again. I have not perused through my lipstick collection at length ever since I did a vicious declutter a few months ago, but I don't recall coming across a lipstick quite like this. I'm impressed by how smooth it feels, how easy it is to apply, despite, again, the gold pearl in here, and the lip liner. And again, because the lip liner is formulated to be waterproof and to prevent feathering, I just feel secure in the fact that the lipstick will not bleed, which is crucial to maintain this like super goth look with the bronze shade. The Dazzle Up highlighter stick I do like. I recognize how helpful it will be, not only as a standalone highlighter, but as a great setup highlighter. Again, for other stick highlighters in my collection, but more specifically the gel baked highlighters that are on the drier side, that have more of like that flakier texture by nature because it is a gel baked highlighter. Not all. I'm thinking about House Labs, what I used here on the demo, the Smashbox and Vlada collaboration highlight. Others that come to mind, even the Gucci highlighter that's very tight in the pan, and I think setting up my cheekbone with Dazzle Up will finesse that application a little bit. And the eyeshadow palette, you know what, family, this was fun to use. It was, and I knew, which is why it was always on my mind. I was curious to find out how these shades, these textures compare to her industrial ones. And I have Industrial 2.0 on standby just to make that comparison, right? Because I'm sure you are all wondering the same. I think generally Industrial 2.0 has more textures in here, and it commits to this ethereal iridescent color story. You have several types of finishes housed in Industrial 2.0, where I think you have similar types of finishes in Dazzle Up. I'll have to do a side-by-side comparison, but I do appreciate the fact that Isamaya included the anchor matte shades for the user who wouldn't know what to do initially with the blues, the pinks, and even the duochromes, but could lead the eye look confidently if they started with one of the neutral shades. So I get that completely. And I had a fairly easy time creating these eye looks, but the bronze, this bronze got me. It got me good. Immediately, when I applied it and how I saw it match Buck, I was like, wait a minute. Fantastic shadow. I thought they were all fantastic. Even the Problem Child shade. I have the Intensifies wand. We made it work. It looks super shiny and just foiled on the lid. And this black matte, watch out. Okay? I'm happy I bought the palette. I'm happy I bought it for $31.50. Would I have purchased this for $105? Because I forgot how much Industrial 2.0 costs. I think it was in the hundreds as well. I would have spent it on this because the mold and all the textures in here, I think worth the cost. And I understand Isamaya's intentions behind creating a compact that's reusable, but aesthetically, I much prefer Industrial 2.0 over the Wild Star design. With that said, I'm happy I waited until I bought the palette on sale, and I would recommend that you do as well. If you still have this on your radar, or if you watch this video and you're like, mine is made up, don't need it, fantastic. But all that to say, and even with the other items too, I didn't need another highlighter stick, and as much as I love this lipstick, I definitely didn't need another bronze lipstick. However, how happy I am with these looks and the products themselves, and the fact that I didn't pay full price for them, I'm okay with. So you gotta let me know what you think down below, fam. I would love to know your opinion, and if you've made it this far, make sure you like this video, consider subscribing, because who knows, I'll be back up on here creating more looks with the Wild Star palette. And make sure you click that notification bell, because when that video drops, you'll know immediately and will watch right away. With that said, family, I will see you down in those comments, and I will see you on here next time.